I put my first motorbike on the road back in the summer of 1981, a Suzuki GT 185. Now, I suspect it was there already, but that bike well and truly put motorcycles in my bloodstream. And since then, I've had a multitude of bikes of different makes and different types. Now, like a lot of people, I was just an average guy with an average wage, and I could never afford to have more than one bike, although that was always my dream. Because inevitably, if I was going to acquire a new bike, I would have to part exchange or sell my old bike to make that happen. Over the years, I've parted with some bikes that I really loved and later regretted. In fact, I used to have this reoccurring dream that I would go into my parents' garage and lo and behold, there would be a collection of my favourite bikes that in reality I'd sold, but in my dream I hadn't. I'd stored them in the garage and forgotten about them. And apart from that dream involving the Cause sisters and a tin of whipped cream, that was probably the happiest dream I ever had. I used to look forward to actually having that dream. Now, fast forward more years than I care to remember. I found myself owning the Triumph T120, and from there I went on to push my YouTube channel forward, something which had just been a background hobby at that stage, but had now become a little bit more than that. I am retired now. I'm not on a huge pension, but things are comfortable, and it gave me the spare time to indulge in what I want to do, ride bikes and make videos. Now, just to allay any fears, the Triumph T120 is still with me. It's a work in progress and I have no plans to get rid of that. And likewise, the T100 Payday Projects bike is still very much ongoing. Again, I've got no plans to get rid of that. So in part, that dream that I used to have when I was younger is sort of starting to come true. And I started to look around for another project to take the place of the T100 project when it was finished. Another string to my bow, if you like. Now, for a long time, I did have my heart set on an R9T BMW. I wanted a bike to customise, and that sort of fitted the bill, but I was worried about the sort of lack, if you like, of custom parts for that particular bike. Now, I like the look of the bobber, but in my mind, I could never really work out what the bike was for. I couldn't really get it to fit into any specific pigeonhole that I had in my head of what a bike should be. A lovely bike to look at, but in a lot of ways I thought very limited, although it had amazing potential to be customised. Now, a couple of months ago, Sam at Motone Customs bought himself a Bobber Black, and he quite literally raved about the bike, which piqued my interest. Before too long, he started to tell me of his plans for bobber specific custom parts that he wanted to produce in the future, and his enthusiasm for this bike sort of became infectious. It rubbed off on me. Now, over the last year, Sam and I have become really good friends. We're in touch with each other almost every day, and it's not just about Motone Customs and my YouTube channel. We talk about the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. But in amongst all that, he does occasionally present concepts to me, things that he's got in mind to do for the future, and he asks me opinion, and I feel really flattered that he does actually value my opinion. And as I've said before, our watch parts evolve right from the drawing board stage up to an actual production piece that I can fit on my bike. And this gave me an idea. I was looking for another general sort of channel bike, and Motone Customs are in the early stages of producing some bobber specific parts. And I thought, what if, rather than doing a series or a project, I used a bobber as one of my channel bikes, and in among everything else, we could use that bike to show you, the viewers, parts through various stages of development, and perhaps even look for a little bit of input from yourselves as to what you think of those parts in the early stages, how perhaps you think they could be improved, choice of finishes, things like that. And I put this idea to Sam, Now Sam is a really friendly, approachable guy, and he thought that this was a good idea, so we started looking around for a bike. Now the Bobber Black hasn't been out long, and second-hand examples are few and far between, and I wasn't really in the position to buy a brand new Bobber Black. So Sam used his, if you like, industry influence and managed to source this particular Bobber Black. Now it's not brand new and it is only a few months old. It hasn't even completed its braking process yet. Now Sam managed to negotiate an absolutely cracking deal for me through Bevan Triumph in Cardiff, one of his local dealers, and they had it delivered to me Tuesday afternoon by a really nice friendly guy called Chris. Now this bike has an interesting provenance because as far as we can tell it's not had a previous owner. We believe it's one of the original press bikes used by Triumph themselves in the original promotion to the new model launch, which is something I found really interesting in itself. What you've got to look forward to over the next year, maybe 2 years, is not just the gradual customization of this bike, but the ability to see those custom parts evolve from the drawing board through the manufacturing process to the end product, with the ability to actually have some input on those parts as we take that journey. I think this is pretty unique. It's not something I've ever seen on YouTube or anywhere else for that matter, and I hope it's something that's going to interest you and something that you're going to enjoy. I also hope that it's something that is going to draw in a wider crowd, a wider viewership if you like, which is obviously something that I have to be mindful of running a YouTube channel. Now obviously some of the parts that Motone have in production at the moment will fit the Bobber Black, and we'll probably make a start with those because otherwise there's going to be quite a wait before we actually get started. Other than that, the Bobber will just be used as a general channel bike like the T120, and it'll be my aim to find out just what the Bobber can be used for, whether it really is as limited as people think, and we'll also be covering the usual general maintenance stuff. The channel will continue to run just as it has before. There's still a lot to do on the T100 project, and there's always something to do with the T120, although I have to admit that for the moment, while I'm in the honeymoon period with the Bobber, I'm probably going to be riding that quite a lot. Right, over the course of the next few days I'm going to be riding this bike, doing some filming and hopefully putting some sort of comprehensive review of this bike together, because I think to some extent this bike is very misunderstood. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you found it useful. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will be back next week, so until then please ride safely and I'll see you soon.